Hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Global AI on Tour, the Canada edition. My name is Ashraf Ghonaim. I'm live streaming now from Toronto. It's almost 7:10 here in Toronto, and the temperature is 25 degrees. So the summer is finally here in Toronto. So again, welcome to my session today is about AI and cognitive services in Power BI. It's one of the topics that I feel so passionate about it myself because I'm so excited about bringing all those AI and cognitive services and AutoM component into Power BI because I believe analytics still has so long way to go when it comes to the augmentation of those analytics and infuse those automations and AI services into the analytics domain. Before we jump into the topics, this is my background. My name is Ashraf Ghonaim. I'm the leader of the Power Platform user group community here in Toronto. I'm also the organizer of a couple of Microsoft conferences and events, like the Toronto Power BI World Tour event. It's an international event, but we used to have it physically before COVID. So I used to organize this event here in Toronto. Also, the organizer of the Global Power Platform Bootcamp. Again, it's a national event, and I manage actually and organize the Canada edition of this event. I'm also a frequent speaker at Microsoft conferences and several events like Ignite, Build, Global AI, Azure Bootcamps, Power BI Days, and several meetup events as well. I'm also the Power BI champion at the Viz for Social Good, the Toronto chapter. And the Viz for Social Good is non-for-profit organization that helps actually the other non-for-profit organization make good use of their data. It's totally driven by volunteers, and every now and then we have a project to help none of the profit organization based on Toronto to make good use of their data, and we rely heavily on the volunteers who are passionate about data visualization and data analytics. So if you have the same passion or you share the same passion and you have some time to help none of those profit organization, please join our Viz for Social Good Toronto chapter, and let us connect again. Connect with me, and I will be happy to put you in one of our next projects to help none of those profit organization to make good use of their data through analytics and visualization. And also because of my community engagement, 3 years ago I was awarded the Microsoft MVP. Again, stands for Most Valuable Professional, and I'm one of 12 MVBs here in Canada in data platform. We have several data platforms in MVB world, and I'm one of the 12 MVPs here in Canada. And and when it comes to Power BI, I believe we're around 3 or 4 people here in Canada. So I'm so happy and proud to be one of those folks who are specialized in Power BI with the MVP award based in Canada. So I'm also the co-author of the first Power BI MVP book. It's written by 21 MVPs from all over the world. Every MVP wrote a specific chapter in this book, and each chapter is focusing on a specific topic, and each chapter is like a standalone topic. So you don't have to read the entire book from cover to cover. You can pick and choose which chapter and which topic that you are interested in, and you can just like read this chapter only, and it will give you like a comprehensive knowledge around this particular topic from end to end in just one chapter. So you don't have to read it in order. So the chapter I wrote in this book was about automated machine learning in Power BI. And again, this book is available on Amazon, and feel free to check it out if you are interested in learning more about Power BI in general, or automated machine learning capabilities inside Power BI in particular. In addition to that, I'm also the co-author of the first Microsoft AI MVP book. Again, same concept. It's written by 16 MVPs from all over the world, and each MVP wrote again specific chapter in this book. And the chapter I wrote was about the AI and cognitive services in Power BI, which is the topic of our session today. Again, this book is available on Amazon, and feel free to check out those two books. I encourage you to purchase them, not to make me a richer person, But actually, yeah, the royalty of this book actually goes to a charity as well. So we agreed as MVPs. Actually, any revenue that comes from those two books will go straight to the charity as well. So that's why I encourage you guys to check those books out and purchase them, because you can help the community when you purchase this book and learn something new as well. That's enough about me and a background about myself, and let us jump to the topic today. So before we jump, I know that you have attended several sessions around the core concept of AI and why AI is important. So I'm not going to spend a long time here. I just want to jump right away to very fundamental specific concepts here, just to set the stage for my demo. So what is AI particularly? AI, in a very simple definition, is the technique which enables the machine to mimic the human behavior. And as you see here, based on this diagram, the AI is the superset of anything that can automate or simulate the or mimic the human behavior in a repetitive way. And also part of the AI is the machine learning, which is again a specialized complex subset of AI, because it's not structured, is not repetitive, but also it can learn from the experience as well. What we call it machine learning. So machine learning is again subset of the artificial intelligence, and the key differentiator here between the classical AI and machine learning driven AI is the ability to learn from the previous experience. And another subset of machine learning is deep learning, which is again it uses complex algorithms actually to have better and deeper understanding based on the historical data, and it can learn from the experience as well. So as you see here, there are subdomains here under artificial intelligence or AI, and the bigger umbrella here that combines all those concepts is AI. So how about cognitive services then? Cognitive services are special pre-trained artificial intelligence machine learning models that were developed by experts in the industry, and they are pre-trained already based on a huge amount of data to be help to be helpful for us to simulate and mimic the human senses and the human behavior. And those can be categorized under certain categories as you see here. Vision, which is again simulate the ability for a human being to see. And using the vision services, you are able here to leverage that and simulate this human sense by being able to detect certain objects in a picture or video. And there are so several applications here for the computer vision as a cognitive as a ready-made predefined cognitive services for us to do so, like things like object detection, face recognition, emotion recognition, OCR, which is text handwriting, and so many other services that is totally driven and based on the ability for the computer to see the picture or the image or the video and comprehend that and extract certain aspects or objects or insights from those pictures. Similar to that, the speech and the ability to comprehend the text and convert it to a speech, for example, or convert the text to speech or speech to text. Also, voice command or audio command. All those services comes under the speech services, cognitive services. When it comes to the languages, language is also one of the AI cognitive services that can help us also understand which language is being used in certain context, whether again in a text format or audio format. And also it can detect some key phrases and those in the free written text. Also it can help us to do some sentiment analysis and identify exactly the sentiment score for certain phrases based on the emotion behind those phrases, like whether this is like angry text or happy text or moderate text. And there are so many applications for sentiment analysis, like for example in social media, you are interested to see how the overall sentiment when it comes to the service of your company or the product of your company, etc. So there are tons of applications here. Again, same concept about the knowledge, our ability to understand and comprehend the contents, and being able actually to go beyond the structure understanding of this of the contents, and comprehend that and translate that to some responses in a form of Q&A. So you go beyond like just one what if then else conditions, but you understand and comprehend actually the text and be able to answer free questions here in terms of Q&A. And search, again, the same concept as well. You can do like free search based on certain topics or certain contents, etc., and it gives you all the relevant information that is relevant to this particular topics. So as you see here, bunch of services, they try to simulate and mimic the human senses and behavior. And we have the privilege now to augment and integrate and infuse all those cognitive services into our application development process, to go beyond the classical computer applications that had limitations in the past, and they can deal now with sophisticated scenarios using vision and speech and language, etc. So, how about AI cognitive services in Power BI? So, we understand now the concept of AI in general. We understand the concept of cognitive services in general. How about AI and machine learning inside Power BI? So, the spectrum of using this term inside Power BI is so wide, as you see here. We'll start from right to left. So we in Power BI, we have the ability to integrate with the Azure services. So we can build our model based on our own data in Azure machine learning services and consume that in Power BI. We can also leverage those predefined cognitive services in Azure and integrate that into Power BI as well. So those to me are like the two extreme. You either build a model yourself based on your historical data, or consume one of the ready-made services that is readily available for us to just consume and put it in the context of your business. Then if you move to the second layer from the right is the R and Python integration. So if you have the expertise and knowledge of writing R and Python script, you can embed that and integrate that inside Power BI and build the model yourself using the script, and leverage that inside Power BI as well. The limitation here, it has some limitation when it comes to the size of data, the size of the model. It has also limitation when it comes to the scalability, and also it has limitation when it comes to the response as well. But at least you can try it. Like you can try that using R and Python inside Power BI. Then in the Power BI services, we have also integrated some of the AutoML capabilities inside Power BI itself. So you can leverage some of the AutoML capabilities inside Power BI services to do some automated machine learning and do some classical machine learning scenarios like prediction, classification, regression, and forecasting. Those are the four categories that currently being covered within the AutoML capabilities inside Power BI. So you don't need to go to the Azure ML, but you can build the model completely and train the model completely and consume it natively inside Power BI using the AutoML capabilities inside Power BI. However, this requires a premium license and a premium capacity or premium per user capacity to be able to leverage those services. So that's actually the machine learning side of Power BI. When it comes to AI, when we refer to AI in Power BI, we basically talk about the last two layers here. So the first one from the left is the complete self-service AI inside Power BI, and this is translated into some of the features inside Power BI that is totally self-service. You don't need to understand the complexity of the model, because it's already like being infused already in those services, and you can just drag and drop and use it without the need to understand the complexity behind it. and also you cannot customize it. It is ready for you to consume right away inside Power BI. So some features like quick insights, like the Q&A, for example. So you can write your question to the data in plain English language, and the Q&A will comprehend your question and translate that to a query, and it will get you the number that you are interested in. So, for example, you can write a question like, "Give me the top 5 countries in sales," for example. So it will give you the top 5 countries based on the sales volume ranked already, and you can visualize that based on a particular chart and so on. Also, this is infused in a couple of what we call them AI powered visual things like key influencers, and give you the ability to actually understand what drives your business, and the key driver that influence certain behavior in your data, like the customer satisfaction. So you need to understand what is driving your customer satisfaction, for example. So it will rank you the drivers, the key drivers, and give you the power and the weight for each one of those drivers, and how this is impacting actually certain behavior of their data. And the last one here is the smart narrative. So if you have difficulty actually focusing on your key points in your dashboard, and you need to translate that to automated narrative that is dynamic, and it changes based on the context, and it provides the key messages to your senior executive without the need for them to go through different scenarios and data, and drag and drop or interact with the data, or slice and dice in the data. So you can just summarize that to them in a very intuitive, very concise way, using the smart narratives. And it's very dynamic, it's contextual. As the data changes, the smart narrative will actually reflect that automatically in your dashboard. So uh, and this is outside the scope of this topic right now, because I want actually the demo for us to focus on the AI cognitive services inside Power BI. And those AI cognitive services, you can actually leverage them inside your model and enrich your model by adding some AI features. And those features, we will just talk about them right now. So right now, as we speak, what we can be covered under AI cognitive services inside Power BI. Again, this is a premium feature which requires premium capacity or premium per user. So far we have 4 main categories: language detection, and this service is allowing us to comprehend and understand the language of the text, certain text, and detect which language is that. And we have like so far 120 languages supported under these services. So for example, if you have like global presence and you have social media presence across all the globe, and you get like comments from all over the world, and you want to categorize them based on the language, so you can easily categorize them, extract the text, and detect the language and categorize them. And this is very important step, because the next step, in my opinion, should be the language translation that will come as a second stage, or a step after language detection. Also, you can identify the key phrases in a free text. So free text is always a difficult topic to analyze or extract key insights or keywords to drive certain action in your organization. So key phrases actually extract the keywords from a free text, and just help you to build like a dashboard based on certain keywords. For example, the frequency of using certain keywords, and the customers comment on social media, for example. The third one is sentiment analysis, where you can score the sentiment of the comments from the customer based on like anywhere between 0 and 1. So 0 is considered like very negative, and 1 is considered very positive. And the text that you can score is can be anywhere between 0 and 1, based on the sentiment of the text itself. Again, this is very important also when it comes to analyzing like social media feedback from your customers. The last one, which is going to be the topic of our demo today, is about image tagging. So image tagging is actually another computer vision services, cognitive services, that is already pre-trained to identify objects in a picture. And this service is just like ready for us to just use it and identify objects in a particular picture. We don't need to train the data. We don't need to build a model. We don't need to reinvent the wheel because already the model, as I told you, it's a pre-built, and we can just like pass the picture to the service and it will detect the objects and return back to us the name of the objects. And you can build again a dashboard based on the objects or how frequent this object was used. One of the use cases, for example, is in the hotel industry. Some of the hotels, they enable this service and used it in a context that the customer, they sometimes they complain about certain services in the room, like room services, and they take picture and post that in social media, for example. So the image tagging services can be used to identify the common items in those pictures that the customers usually complain about, like for example, air condition, for example, or the bed or whatever, like the object is. Then image tagging can be very helpful service for us to help with those scenarios. So just to give you a sense now how cognitive services can be used inside Power BI, I'll just quickly go now through the demo to give you a sense of how this is being used. So again, hope you can see my screen now. So here I'm using this, as you see, the workspace here has the diamond. Diamond means this is either a premium workspace uh, based on a premium capacity, or a premium per user, which is this is the case in my scenario here. So I'm using actually a workspace that has the premium per user. So to leverage the image tagging service here, we start with creating a data flow. So data flow is the starting point of building a pipeline to ingest the data from the source all the way along to the presentation layer, and apply certain steps in between, and also leverage some of the services and augment that in the pipeline process between the source of the data all the way along to present the data. So the steps are so quickly here. It should be straightforward and easy for us. So we have so many connectors here to connect with so many services. So the simplest way, just to show the service, I don't want to go through any level of complexity here when it comes to data source, because you can technically store the picture in any storage format or a blob storage and Azure services, etc. And you can ingest that and use that for object detection. So I'll use the simplest method for now, just to give you a sense, quick sense of how the service, because the focus for me now is on the AI cognitive services, not about the connection, how to handle like big size of data, etc. So just to give you an idea, those are like 3 random pictures. I picked it from the internet, like just Google them or Google any picture, random pictures. So I picked those 3 pictures and I just put them in a script to ingest them. Just to give you a sense of the script here, what in the blank query, I just put the script here. Script is basically, this is the URL for the picture. I added like index here just to rank them 1, 2, 3 pictures. Put the URL, and also I added like the mQuery command here to get the web contents of the picture itself, which in binary format, because this is what will be used actually to detect the objects inside the picture. This URL is just for our reference only. So I just tweaked the text here. It's again, it's already like in the documentation. I just tweaked it because I wanted actually to understand the link here and also get the contents here for object detection. That's it. And I just labeled the 3 columns here: ID, which is the index, the URL for the picture, and the image, which is the content of the picture itself, and using the command here for web content, which will be used for object detection. Just click next. Just as asking me to authenticate the source here, because I have three different data sources. So it's just like we can ignore any security issues around that and just like authenticate now the sources here. And as you see here, the output as I expected: index, ID, URL for my picture, and this is the binary content of the picture itself, which will be used as an input for my object detection and image tagging service in Power BI. So if you notice here, this is the data flow, the Power Query editor, and in the cloud. And as you notice here, one of the options I have here in the menu is called AI Insights. I just simply, because I already like brought already the three pictures here in the pipeline, and I just apply one of the AI insights to this process here, like add this as an extra step in my process. Should work. Just give it a second, please. Yep, here you go. So as I told you, because I have premium capacity, like premium per user workspace, so that was enabled for me. And if I expand that, you see 4 services here that I just explained earlier: image tagging, key phrases, language detection, and sentiment score. So what is relevant in my scenario now is just image tagging. So I click on that. If you notice here, it automatically detected that one of my columns has the binary content, which is the column called image. I'm not sure if I can move that line. Anyway, so you remember I had 3 columns: ID, URL, image, and one of them is the binary content of the picture itself. So that was automatically detected. I still can change that if it was for whatever reason not picked correctly. And that's it. That's all what I need to do, and I just click apply. So now the pipeline, the process here is calling this service on the cloud, the AI cognitive services on the cloud, and it passes the contents of those 3 pictures to this service behind the scene. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to handle that. It's automatically handled here for me behind the scene, and it's getting me the results already. Remember, I had like 3 pictures only, right? Now this is expanded to 21 line. But if you notice here, for picture 1, I have like 6 records. For picture 2, I have like from 7 to 15, 16. And picture 3 has like 4, 5, 6 lines here. Why is that? Because the result was expanded based on the number of objects in each one of those pictures. So that was expanded already for me. And as you see here, there is a confidence score associated with any one of those objects. Confidence level is critical when it comes to machine learning and AI, because nothing is 100% certain. Like there is always a margin of error. And for the sake of transparency here, the model is giving me back the confidence level. How far the model is confident that there is a cat in this picture. So it's the confidence level is so high. But again, there is always a margin of error. And it's up to me now as an analyst or a consumer of the cognitive services to put a threshold here. What is the safe threshold here to allow this to be identified as an object or not? So I can put my threshold to 50%, for example. So any confidence level higher than 50%, I will accept what came up from the model. Anything below 50%, I will just ignore it because it could be a wrong detection in the model. And this is commonly understood notion in the machine learning world. Or let us see the results first, then we can make those decisions after that. So that's it. So as you see here, I got the results based on the model, and I'll just save the model now. So the model, I just like can say that, okay, image detection model. So I'll just refresh that. So it's ready for me now to be consumed. So how can I use that? So from my Power BI desktop, everyone is familiar with Power BI desktop. So that's the authoring tool. Power BI team is working hard now to bring this experience to the cloud, but I'm still comfortable actually using the Power BI desktop more than the authoring features or capabilities in the cloud. So as you see here, just get the source. So this time I'm gonna ingest and consume the model that I just created or the data flow that I just created in the cloud, which is again Power BI platform, and just use Power BI data flow because it's already embedded in one of the existing data flows that I created. So I just consume that data flow. So it's giving me all the workspaces that has this feature enabled, and the one that I used was premium per user workspace. I just named it this way. I have two of them. So what I just created now is the image detection model. I just expand that and just connect here to the query. Make sure it's selected, load. That's it. So I have now the results here. Just quickly, I'll build a quick dashboard here. Let us say that we put the ID, the URL. So I have three pictures here, as I told you. Let us see those pictures. So I'll just go here, convert that to a image URL. So at least we can understand exactly what we're talking about, which picture is which. Just go to the grid here, increase the height here to the maximum to give you more visibility. And this is the source. How about the results? The results are here. The tag, and let us bring in the confidence level as well. And here is the confidence level. Maybe I can convert the confidence level here to a percentage. Yep. And let us now filter that. So this is what was identified here. It's a cat. 99.79% it's identified as a cat. Also, it's a domestic cat. Not very high because it may not look like a domestic cat. It's a black cat, etc., etc. So that was not given a very high score here. Gray, I'm not sure why this is repeated twice, but gray as a color was identified twice. Oh yeah, maybe one for as a cat and the other one for a domestic cat. It could be, I don't know. And also this picture is indoor, 99.5%, and this is a mammal, which is 45%. And as you see here, this is the objects that were identified in this picture. Maybe the picture is not the best perfect picture or example actually that can be used in a real life scenarios, but I'm just giving you a sense of how the service is working from end to end. Again, this is a building, this is a castle, there is a grass here, there is outdoor, through in a sky, tall tree, etc. And again, this is a flower, plant, yellow, and the color is yellow, etc. So again, that can be used again to automatically detect certain objects in your data source, and you can build a dashboard based on the top of that, and you can see how many objects were detected in certain pictures, and you can rank them, etc., etc. But this is just gives you an idea about how the AI cognitive service work when it comes to the image detection. Okay, so we didn't train anything, we didn't build any model, etc., etc. Everything was just ready for us to be used, and we just consume the object detection feature and Power BI. How about what if I have my own data? Like I need actually to actually build a model based on my own data. So there is one way of doing that. Again, we can do that through the the Azure machine learning services, and you can build a model from scratch. Also, I just wanna in the last 15 minutes, I know we are running quickly out of time, but in the last 15 minutes, I just want to share with you something very interesting that I recently came across, and I was inspired to do this work based on the blog from Chris Webb, who actually introduced this tool and actually explained a very nice concept, actually how to integrate that with Power BI. So if you are interested, like check this out if you need more details. But I'll just give you a sense how it works now. So this tool is actually, it's called Lobby. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. It was a company, a startup company, obviously, and it was recently acquired by Microsoft. So it's a Microsoft company now, and they have very interesting concept here to build like computer vision model from scratch based on your own data in a very intuitive way without any complexity whatsoever. No need to write single line of code to build a model. So you basically go here. It's a free service, by the way. It's a still beta though, and you can just download this service in your desktop, and you can just start using it. Has nothing to do with Power BI in particular because it can be used in any other context. But the interesting here, because Chris wrote a concept here how this can be integrated with Power BI, so it inspired me. I also tweaked his concept a little bit, and I'll show you how it works. So let us go quickly through a scenario here to build a project from scratch. So let us say we will name that as mask, no mask model, right? And it's to feed the model and to train the model. The import option here is giving you three options here: either to import the actual physical image from your computer one by one, and you can label them one by one, or you can turn your camera on and take pictures of yourself with certain gestures, for example, or any other camera that can be also, I think it's integrated with the service. Or the classical way is to do the label data set. If you have like already labeled data set, you can use that to train the model and build the model from scratch. So I'll use this one, and I already like got a bunch of pictures here, just to give you a sense of that. So I have a bunch of pictures here, one for people who are wearing masks in one category called mask, and the other one for people who don't wear masks. And that's it. Very straightforward, very simple exercise. It can be applied for a security cam for the company before people actually enter the office, for example. They can look at the screen and take picture and determine whether they are wearing mask or not. Or yeah, any scenario. But just again, this is the concept here is much more important than the actual application of those scenarios. Uh, so I'll just select the folder here called the training, and that's it. And just click import here. So either you want the process here to get the label from the folder name, or you will manually label them. So in this case, because I already split them based on mask and no mask, so already they were classified here, mask and no mask. So those all the pictures here, quickly imported. And as you see here, the training process is happening now. It's spinning here. Let us wait for this. Hopefully it will not take a long time. So it's again, model is being trained here now. So and it gives you options actually, or the chance actually to correct some of or label properly some of the things here. Wherever there was a confusion in the model to detect certain objects here, you can correct that. So for example, that was missing. See, the incorrect percentage is very low, but it's giving you option now to overwrite what the model came up with and say, no, that's actually my friend. This is a mask now. Again, it's being trained again, and it's giving me the option now as 100%. So that the only picture, for whatever reason, was giving confusion and reducing the accuracy was this one, and I manually interfered with the training process and corrected that already. So as you see, 100% is done, and I can move now to the use step here, which is very interesting. So the use here is you can actually drag and drop your images here, and it will give you the score or the results right away. So let us take one of those, but we use that in let us take this one, for example, and put it here. So it should be calling the model now and getting me the results. No mask. So that's a good test, and you can acknowledge that as well, whether that was identified correctly or not. So that's good. And it's feeding now the model and increase the accuracy of the model in the future. That's one option. You can also use the camera directly to consume the model. That's okay. Or you can export the model. And there are so many options here. You can export the model to TensorFlow, REST API, Web API. There are Android application. There are tons of options here. Onyx, TensorFlow, like so many options here to allow you to consume the model that we just built actually. So in my case, I'll just use the first option here, which is connect. And all what I need to do is giving me actually the input, the how to call the API and how to consume it, and how to parse the output of this model. So what I really need to get here is just like this URL service here, and that's it. And this is actually will be used and to actually like score my actual data. So because I don't have a very long time here, I'll just walk you through the steps I just created before this demo. I'll go here to show you how to integrate that in Power BI. Oh, sorry. So I put an Excel sheet here just to pass the picture. So it has just one link here as a source. I just created that pipeline. So I'm putting links now in an Excel sheet. I'm using this as a source for my Power BI report. Normal process here, change the data type, promote header, etc., etc. Then the most interesting step here, I added index as well because I want to rank the pictures. I reordered the columns, added the binary content of the picture. Remember the same step that we did already in our previous example. So I'm not using the URL. I'm passing to the model the binary content of the picture itself. So it's not reading the URL, it's reading actually the content itself. That's it. And this step here, again, the web content, I just added this step manually. And here, I'm just calling the API. That's it. So it's already in the blog. And all what you really need to take is to replace this with your URL from Lopi tool, which is this guy here. So I just take the copy and paste it here. That's it. What it takes after that, it parses that JSON output, which is again, how did I know that? Again, it's this will be the output: label, mask or no mask, and the confidence level. That's pretty much it. Sorry, back to my example. Yep. And expanded the list here of the, after I parsed that and expanded the results and get the confidence score, same concept, etc., etc. So it's either mask or no mask and the confidence level associated with each one of those services. So I actually passed that all the way along to actually like build a dashboard based on that and put some pictures here, and it tells me whether this is a mask or no mask. And this is the overall dashboard here to tell me how many wear mask and how many didn't wear a mask. And again, those pictures I put them in the URL here. And so on. Let us. I tried actually to challenge the model and see the accuracy. Again, I'm sorry we don't have time to show you actually the fun, but you can try that yourself. It's so easy, and like nothing is rocket science here, guys. So I tried to confuse the model with those examples. Remember, there was a Russian vlogger that deceived the security guys in one of the malls, actually in Indonesia, I believe, and she actually drew a mask on her face. So I actually used all of those pictures to challenge the model, and the model was not successful in detecting this one, for example. So it detected that no mask. While again, it's confusing. Do you want to treat this as a mask or not? This guy here, for example, it's a fun. Unfortunately, we don't have time to show you the results and how I interfered actually with the process here and manually corrected the model here to label those properly. And this is the Russian vlogger that I just mentioned to you. She drew actually like a mask on her face and deceived the security guys and in the mall, and she was able to enter, and she vlogged about that. But after that, they captured her and actually like kicked her out of the country as a result of that. But anyway, it's a fun try, please, to play with that. And as I told you, the final product of this process is just like I got those pictures, mask, no mask. Some of them were mistakenly detected as a wrong label. But when I went through the training process again, those pictures, I was able to manually detect them and correct them, and they were successfully corrected as a result of that. That's pretty much concludes my session today. I hope we don't have so many questions because we have only 3 minutes left. So over to you, Bruno. Like,
we have more time if you want to share something else. To be honest with you, I
mhm,
didn't even know that we can do stuff with Love like this, where Love is the act as a web server to do the analysis. When I test the tool a couple of months ago, it was only exporting to TensorFlow and that's it.
mhm.
It does a lot of stuff, and as you mentioned, it's super easy also to integrate with this. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was so impressed how easy it is actually to integrate that in Power BI. Like, again, Web inspired me with his blog, but I tweaked actually the steps a little bit to actually like give it more context here and rank them and add the label and build the dashboard on the top of that, and you can filter that as you see here. So it's a very interactive. So how many?
That's how I like it, because once you have the info and you have processed it, that is where you have all of the power of Power BI on top to do all of these kind of things. But the connection, the conne-
Absolutely. So this is the
it's,
power of those services because we can convert unstructured data like pictures to structured data, and we can see actually how it was parsed. Let me share with you actually the results. Uh, yeah. So you can see,
there you have, yes.
yeah, this, yeah.
Masking, no max, yes.
Yeah, so I split that. I wanted actually to show you before the split, yeah, because again, for each picture, it's like a new record. So I split that and divided that and converted that to column, and also the confidence level associated with each one of those guys here. And again, you convert binary contents, which is the picture, to a structured result, which is mask or no mask, even with the score and confidence level for each one, which is again like this is amazing. This is really
Yes,
amazing.
and you couldn't make it because you are using your camera, but also when you use Love and you can access your camera, that it takes, I don't know, 20 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and train with that, it become even better to do these kind of things. So that's
Absolutely.
super cool. Someone asked here in the question if the is love is free
It's
as a
free.
tool.
It's totally free. Yes, it
Totally
is.
free,
It
yes.
is free. Yeah.
And it's already in release one or still in beta, because you also mentioned that
I think it's
it's used.
still in beta, Bruno, unless you have more information about that. But last time I
No,
checked it, it was still in beta. Yeah.
no. As I mentioned, I know that they were acquired by Microsoft some time ago, but I lost track when, I don't know. I didn't even know. Yes, 0.9, so they are close to be. But hey, this is super cool that you can export this to TensorFlow, Onyx, TensorFlow Little.
Yeah.
It's super, super, super cool, and also it's super easy to connect
Yeah.
with Power
Absolutely.
BI.
Absolutely. It's very impressive. And I encourage everyone, play with it, guys. It's a fun. It's really a fun game. Like bring your own picture and try to play with it and see how it works.
Yes, and I think also the cool part here, the amazing stuff that you bring to the table is that you don't need to be a data scientist. You
Exactly.
only need to have a nice image data set, and you can start from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The most important element from now on with all those automations, guys, is the ability to consume and infuse that in your work. How
Yes.
to actually integrate that with your work is the most critical. Come up with use cases, real use cases scenario. Technology is becoming so easy, so intuitive. As you see here, no rocket science anymore. Understand your input, understand how you interpret the output, make those decisions, infuse that in your application. Boom, that's it.
Yes. We have a previous question that was when you were talking at the beginning about the different type of AI that we can use in the Power Platform in Power BI, and you mentioned that we have the chance to do AutoML. You mentioned three or four scenarios. I can't remember the scenarios, but someone asked,
Yeah.
"Where are the models stored?" When
Yeah,
you
I can show you quickly how to do auto ML in Power BI. It's again a fun, interesting, intuitive feature as well. I hope we had more time to cover that, but as you see here, it's in the data flow itself.
okay,
This is the data flow that we created. Remember that. And if I go edit here, edit the model here. Remember in the screen here where I had the Power Query editor screen, those are the
yes,
AI cognitive services that we use, correct? So forget about that. If you switch here to the machine learning models, as you see here, this is actually the weather that will be guiding me through the whole steps from end to end to build a model from scratch. I don't have the relevant data for now, but let us assume, let us pretend that I'm building a model now. And let us say that I need to predict the confidence level. Again, it's totally irrelevant, but I know that.
yes, I
But I
get
just
the idea. So it and also it seems that it's the ABC. You pick up your data, you pick up your problem. You want to do regression, classification, or
Exactly. So you can classify. I see because the confidence level is numerical number. It
yes,
automatically detected that it's a regression model automatically.
super cool.
So I don't even have to bother about whether this is a classification or yes or no or anomaly detection or all those types because it's already already automatically detected. If it is yes or no or ABC, it will be automatically classified for you as a classification problem, and it will actually narrow down your process to the classification models only. So can you believe that?
Yes, super cool. It's
And you just like go here, click next, and you can just like
and you mentioned that this is only available if you have Pro, Premium. I don't know the
premium or
yes,
premium per user, either premium capacity or premium per user. So as you see here, it already is doing now the selection, like feature selection process, and it tells me exactly which one is relevant with the output. Again, this is not the right data. I'm sorry about that, but just to pretend that you understand how it works, the feature engineering, because it automatically excluded some of the columns that were identified as irrelevant when it comes to predicting the score here. Again, this is not the good data. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, you can proceed with the whole process here until actually it will build the model, will give you a comprehensive result and with a report about how the model was built, how many algorithms would used, all the parameter tuning, the hyperparameter
Yes.
tuning process. It goes through the whole process from end to end, and give you which model, which algorithm was used eventually, and which model was used, and which parameters were used actually as a hyperparameter. And the sky's limit. Go and challenge that. If you are a data scientist and you want to build a model using the same algorithm and the same combination of hyperparameters, see if you can achieve better results or not. So be our guest.
Yes, that's for sure. And by the way, this is amazing. I really, really, I didn't. I know that there is something here, but I never saw this. So hey, this is super cool, and it's 2 clicks away from what we have
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe in the future we will have this as one of our topics in the future, and we can just focus on auto ML capabilities in Power BI. I love Power BI. Power BI is becoming like my weapon now from end to end. I don't
That's
want to
amazing.
rely on anything outside Power BI.
Okay, Ashraf, I am not going to steal more of your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bruno. Thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session. Please connect with me, and if you have any other questions, feel free to send me on LinkedIn your question, and I will be happy to get back to you as quickly as possible. Thanks again, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your event.
Okay, yes, let's wait for. I am going to switch the camera. I'm going to repeat and share some information and wait for Tasia, as she should be here anytime soon. So, Ashraf, it's a
Thanks.
pleasure. See you around. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks, Bruno. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.